Professional with degrees from the University of Cincinnati and from Northern Kentucky University. His community volunteer experience includes St. John the Baptist Church and School, Dan Beard Council for the Boy Scouts of America, NKU College of Informatics Alumni Council, Southwest Ohio Give Camp, and he is currently acting as a group facilitator for Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. He has never held political office. Next, we have Anthony Agner. Anthony is running as a Republican, and he's a graduate of Oak Hills High School. He served 7 years in the Army, and then after that, he was a corrections officer in Lebanon, and he's currently a firefighter with Harrison Fire Department. Is that correct, Anthony? Okay, thank you. He has never held political office either. Ken Hetzer is the third candidate, but he is not with us tonight. Ryan Samuels. Ryan Samuels is running as a Republican. He is a lifelong Harrison resident, having graduated from Harrison High School at the University of Cincinnati. His community volunteer experience includes Hickory Flats Homeowners Association and coaching youth basketball, baseball, and soccer. And he currently serves on the Harrison Board of Zoning Appeals. Next, we have Jean Wilson. Jean Wilson is also running as a Republican, and she's a graduate of Conant, did I pronounce that right? Conant, Ohio High School. And she served in the Army for 2 years. She's worked in Harrison in the past as a realtor and an insurance agent. Jean is very involved in Veterans Affairs and organizations. Including our local Jaeger, Benson, American Legion post. She is also involved with the Joseph House for homeless veterans, with Hamilton County Veterans Service Commission, and for the Fisher House at the Cincinnati VA. Next year, Jean will be the commander of the Ohio Department of the American Legion, and she'll be the first woman to be elected to that statewide office in over 100 years. Jean has never held political office. I should mention also that I skipped some things here. She also was head for 6 years of the Harrison Recreation Commission. She's currently, I believe, president of the Harrison Mayor's Fund, and she also served for many years as chair of the Amber Garrett Needy Children. And last but not least, we have Carol Wheely. Carol is running as an independent. Carol is a lifelong resident of Harrison. She graduated from Harrison High School. She also holds degrees from Cincinnati State, Miami University, and Mount St. Joseph. She served as Director of Records and the Clerk of the City Council for over 20 years. That's Harrison City Council. And her community volunteer experience includes Ladies on the Loose, ACS Relay for Life, Harrison Mayor's Fund, and several civic beautification projects. Carol is a member of political office. And with that, I will turn it over to our moderator, Travis Thayer from Eagle 99.3.
First off, I want to thank Mr. Combs and the Greater Harrison Chamber of Commerce for having me out here tonight. Usually with my day job being on the radio, I don't get to see faces, so glad to see some folks coming out. I'm glad I can get my face out in the community as well. Before we get to the candidates and the questions, I do want to run down the format very quickly. We have prepared 5 questions for the candidates, and we're going to give them about 90 seconds to 2 minutes to answer those questions, try to keep this moving along as quickly as we can. Keep it to about an hour. At the end of that, we will open it up. Anybody out in the audience that would like to ask a question will be able to do that, and then we'll wrap it up from there. And we will go in alphabetical order in terms of the candidates. So Joe Combs will be the first to speak here, and we do want to thank Sydney Murray for putting together the questions tonight as well. And The very first question is very simply put, why are you running for Harrison City Council?
Okay. Thank you, Trev. There's actually a couple reasons that I'm running. I moved my family here in 2002, and our growing family in 2002. Okay. There's a couple reasons that I'm running in this race. In 2002, my family was outgrowing our house in Cheviot. We were looking for some place to plant roots, and quickly found that Harrison was a good spot for our family to be. We called this home. My kids have gone through St. John's School and Harrison High School. I guess the other reason, or the second reason, when I entered this race, there were 3 candidates for 3 seats, and the idea of an unopposed election just wasn't sitting well with me. At the same time, with my kids getting older, 2 of them are moved out of the house now, I don't have the time to commit to do the job well. Andy read my bio, you can tell I'm a very service-minded person, so serving on council just fits perfectly with my personality and how I'm wired.
All right, thank you, Joe. So same question for Anthony Agner. Why are you running for Harrison City Council?
I started working for the city of Harrison in 2007, and I rather quickly fell in love with the city. Just it's a small town, and it still has that feel. I've always, since I was an adult, I've served in public service, and this is just continuing my journey to serve the public. I enjoy helping people. I feel like as I'm getting older, I can help in more of a administrative capacity than with the fire department or in any other capacity.
All right, thanks so much. As mentioned by Mr. Coates and Kevin Hesser, not here with us tonight, so we'll move on to Ryan Samuels. Ryan, why are you running for city council?
Well, first of all, back to college, I had a class that was an early modeling class, and one of the requirements of the class is I had to meet with local politicians. So I met with the judge, I met with the assistant councilman, Nick Lear, and that's really where my interest in politics and moving, the work as a local government associate. And I've been part of the Harrison community for 30 plus years. We moved out here back in 1978 when there really wasn't a whole lot out here. Lived here through college, met my wife here. We moved out, lived in College Hill for a couple of years, we lived in Rice Hill for a year, and we decided to move back to the area. So really what I'm trying to do with running for council is try to give back to the community that I've been part of for so long. I feel like, everyone has to make the effort to make the community better, and this is what I feel like my part is and would like to do. And just looking to make a greater positive impact.
All right, thank you so much, Ryan. The next to answer will be Gene Wilson. Why are you running for Harrison City Council?
Thank you. One of the reasons that I wanted to run for City Council is that I believe that when you live in a community that you have to be vested in it. I'm very vested in our community. I've worked at many different levels as a volunteer, as an employee, been very involved in other organizations, and I've seen how our community has grown. I see what our spirit is in this community. It's like no other. And I just feel that it is a duty of all of us to give back whatever way we can to where we live. And so that's one reason that I decided that I wanted to run for City Council, is that I've been very blessed to live in this community. I didn't grow up here, but after I met and married my husband, Jerry, we moved back to his hometown. I feel like this is my hometown. I love our community. I love what we do. and that the people that live here, work here, are amazing people. They get what it is to belong to a community that is great. There's a lot of good communities around, but I feel that our community is great. When someone's in need, when someone needs help, there's no other spirit like the spirit of people in Harrison. So I just felt like I wanted to do more for my community, and that's why I decided to run for city council.
All right. Thank you very much, Gene. And last but certainly not least, for the first question, Carol Wee, same question, why you're running for city council?
Thank you. I'm running for city council because I have spent the past 25 years being involved with the city of Harrison, either in volunteer positions or paid positions. I love my city. I have spent over 20 years as clerk for Harrison City Council. I have been the recreation director for the city of Harrison. I've also served on 2 comprehensive review committees. I've served on 2 charter review committees. I've even served on the township comprehensive plan committee, and finally on the swimming pool ad hoc committee. Now that I have recently retired after working for 45 years, 35 years in teaching, I know I now have the time to work hard to do the best for all the citizens of our city. Thank you.
All right, and we're going to move right along to question number 2, and we'll go back to Joe Combs to start off this round. What do you think is going well in the city of Harrison, and what are some of the things you'd like to see continue if you are elected to city council?
I think there are quite a few things that are going well. There's a lot of positivity in our city. I look at the way we're delivering basic services, the fire and police. We heard Councilman Grubbs talk a little bit about the levy and the importance of being fully staffed. I think that's fantastic. It's one of the things that's definitely going well, and I want to see us not slide backwards in that area. Hand in hand with that is financial responsibility. When I look at our spend, when I look at the budget, we're doing a really good job of that. The current council has done a fantastic job of planning ahead for things and for retirements and so forth. But we need to be vigilant. One of the things that I don't like about the current situation with the levy, and it's levies in general, is that these property tax levies always feel like there's kind of a gun to your head, pass this, or we're going to cut some service. So I'd like to see council work on a more permanent solution. And the last thing that I see that's going well is our recreation and just the vibrancy of the district of downtown Harrison. I went to Taste of Harrison a few weeks ago, my first time there, and it just blew me away. It was fantastic. There was a great atmosphere, the people that were there, the variety of businesses that were attracted to the district. It's phenomenal.
All right, thank you, Joe. In terms of kind of speeding this along, if you need me to rephrase the question, I can do that. Otherwise, Anthony, if you want to carry on with your answer, go ahead.
I as well see the fire department, the police department as a positive in the city. I know since I've worked there, I know that they're trying everything they can with what they have to provide the service that they do. I was also going to say the district, they're bringing all kinds of stuff down there, and that's where I would want to see the city continue to grow with as far as attracting small businesses to come to our city.
All right, thank you, Anthony, for that answer. Ryan Samuels, same question for you, sir.
Well, what is going well? I think one of the biggest things that I think that the council has come up with an master plan. It does put down in writing some kind of direction for the city, so I think that is a huge win. The community, Joe touched on it, the spirit in the community is, I believe, is really high right now. The recreation department has put some fantastic events together. And just the overall buzz. Obviously, we have the new schools coming. We also, the talk of the YMCA. Those are all positive things that are going on in the community.
All right, and anything you'd like to see continued, or are you good with that answer there? All right, we'll move on. Gene Wilson, what do you think's going good in the community?
Well, I believe that one of the great things that is a real plus for our community is, first of all, we have a great school system. We have a school system where people want to send their children. We have a school system where people are attracted to our school system because it's there. We have the people that are interested in our children, that are great educators, that want to teach our children and care about it. Also, it's great that in the past several years that we've added the economic development department. I think that's been a big plus for us to actually pull everything in together, to know that you have to have building, you have to have zoning, you have to have a plan. You just can't put something here and there. And so I think that the insight that our city council has provided to know that we need these things, it's been great. We have a lot of great public servants who have put this plan together for us. We have a fantastic police and fire department, but also we have a great street department, a water department, a sewage department. We have a fantastic recreation department, and I'm very proud of the recreation department. I used to be a part of it. So I know where they've come from and where they're going. Now we have the district in downtown Harrison, and they're pulling all these fantastic businesses into our downtown. And when they pull these businesses in, then it makes more people want to come to our community and be a part of it. So we have a lot of great things going on. And I'm just proud to be involved in our community and know that, we're going in the right direction. Yes, we're going to have issues, we're going to have problems, but I think that we have the people in place that are thinking ahead of the curve and that are making plans to solve our problems.
All right, thank you so much, Gene. And Carol Wee gets to answer this question. What do you think is going good here in Harrison?
The City of Harrison has always placed a high priority on safety by making sure our police and fire departments are well equipped and have enough personnel. I'm glad that they have continued that. The City of Harrison has also done a wonderful job of hiring department directors. Remember, our department directors are the ones who basically take care of the day-to-day operations of the city. Our police chief, fire chief, our recreation director, the person who runs our senior area and the community center, our finance director. Again, they have a lot to do with the health of our city on a day-to-day basis. I also would agree with Mr. Samuels in saying that the city has now put a great priority on the comprehensive plan that many of you have not seen this. It's great. When you go to council meetings now, when a situation comes up, the first thing they do is they pull this out of the drawer and check to make sure they're on the plan. I love that. Following through. I also like the work that's being done in the downtown area. As a resident of downtown, it's great to walk through every day and see how things are cleaned up and new businesses are coming in. And then finally, I like how the city in the last couple of years has made a commitment to make the entire community look cleaner by passing new ordinances. And I know some people may not be too happy about that trash can ordinance, but as I'm walking around, the city is starting to look better all the time, so I really do appreciate their efforts.
All right, thank you so much, Carol. And we just talked about the positives in Harrison, and now on the flip side, what are some of the things that you think are going wrong here in Harrison? What needs to be improved on? Joe Combs, you get the first chance at this one.
Okay. It's tough to answer a going wrong question because as we've just all talked about, there is a lot of positive things going on in So maybe it's better to frame it in terms of what are the areas of opportunity, the things to focus on. I see a couple I mentioned in the previous question, the idea of finding a permanent solution for funding our fire services, so we're not just being the can down the road and coming back for another levy renewal. It hasn't made headlines much lately, but there is absolutely still a war on drugs that's taking place every day. We need to make sure that police, fire departments, that they have the resources they need to help people. And the last thing that I see is an opportunity, and it's funny because I mentioned it as a strength too, and that's being smart about growth, using the comprehensive plan. When I first moved out here, it felt like sometimes development was kind of ad hoc or willy-nilly. The comprehensive plan puts forth a fantastic vision for what we should be doing in our city, and we need to continue to revisit. That needs to be a living document that we refer to frequently.
All right, thank you, Joe, and I like the way you changed that question up, so let's reframe it. What can be approved upon here in Harrison? Anthony Agner, you got the next opportunity to answer.
I think one of the biggest things that are going to pose a problem for the city is the amount of growth that's going on. I live in the park of Whitewater, and just seeing the neighborhoods that are being built out there, that's definitely going to cause an issue with for transportation. There's a lot of people out there, and it's just going to keep growing. And then another issue that I feel like is going to be a big deal if the levy doesn't get passed. That's going to be a huge deal with how we're going to provide just basic fire service for the city.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Mr. Ryan Samuels, what do you think can be improved upon here in the city of Harrison?
I think one of the things that we're going to have to deal with is, as the city grows fast, other things like in the safety services, police, fire department, the infrastructure. There's obviously going to have to be changes made. Like I said, we lived out here in 78, some of you go down here, and there hasn't been a whole lot of improvements to the infrastructure. West Road is still the same as it was. There's a few added red lights. New Haven's been improved. But in those northern subdivisions where you see the parts of Whitewater, there's new subdivisions going in. You have the same infrastructure that has been there for 30 or 40 years. So there are going to have to be updates to that. So, and it's not necessarily something that Harrison can take on itself. We're going to have to work with other agencies, whether it be the county or the state. But I think that's one of the biggest things that we can work on right now.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And we'll move on to Jean Wilson. Same question for you, ma'am.
I don't really feel that there's a lot wrong with our city, but are there things that we need to improve on? Of course. We need to improve and add to our police department. They're at the same staffing that they were back in 2008. And we all know that we have grown leaps and bounds since 2008. So we're going to have to try to find a way to add police officers to the Harrison Police Department without increasing great costs to our taxpayers. We're also going to have to find a way to add to the Harrison Fire Department. Not only do we need additional staff, we're probably going to need an additional station. So there's a lot of things that we need to work on and to improve on. But, infrastructure, as you spoke about, of course, a lot of these roads are old. They didn't ever think that we were going to have these many people living in our community. but we're such a great community that people are just about running out here to live in our community. So we have to think of solutions and be practical about it and figure out ways that we can do things, whether they're through grants, through, whatever. Like I say, we're going to have to get realistic. We're going to have to figure out that we're going to have to add to the Harrison Police Department. 2008, we're working on the same amount of people. Now, you want to figure out how many people have moved here since 2008. Lots. Same thing with the Harrison Fire Department. There's rules and regulations that they have to follow with OSHA, and I can guarantee you that sometimes that they don't have enough staff that they're following the guidelines of OSHA. So we have to solve these problems. We have to be able to figure out a way to do that. But I think that with all of us working together as a unit, with no one having a personal agenda, that all of these issues can be addressed and solved along the way.
All right, thank you very much, Gene. And Carol, next, what needs to be improved on in Harrison?
I think the area that the city of Harrison needs to improve on the most is to be able to offer better jobs through better commercial development. I'm not talking about more fast food restaurants. I'm talking about companies that provide a living wage. We have young adults graduating from high school and college every year in our area. And where do they go to work? We're sometimes losing our best and brightest to other cities. If we would be able to get in some really great companies here that, again, provide a living wage, some of these other situations that we've talked about might disappear because we would have a much better tax base in which to draw from. Another concern that I have with the city is years ago we got in a contract with the RITA, known as the Regional Income Tax Authority. Not only have consumers complained that it's not a very friendly website to maneuver around, but from my understanding too, they're not really good at sending the check back to the city of Harrison. So I think maybe getting back to our own tax department might be an improvement for the city. I also have a concern that we are passing so many ordinances lately, again, to deal with how the city looks, which again, I'm very much in favor of. Problem is, we don't have enough of a resource to find out who's in compliance with those and who's not. Again, having a larger tax base may allow us to hire additional people. I also have a concern, and I've had this concern for many, many years, that whenever there is an opening on a board or commission in the city of Harrison, that position is never advertised, as other cities do. As I've been walking around and campaigning, there are some great people out there with some really great ideas and really have the time and the energy to serve. They never know about these positions. Those positions usually get handed to a friend or just someone else we wanted to give it to. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Carol. The next question for all you fine candidates, what are some of the main challenges you see for the city of Harrison over the next 4 years? And maybe to add on as like a two-parter, is there one thing in particular that maybe you'd like to see happen here in the next few years that would help in terms of economic development or just bringing people into the city? Go ahead.
Okay. I see two big challenges ahead. The first, as Brian alluded to in the previous question, is infrastructure. In particular, the challenges of working across jurisdictions. State Street was paved a couple of years ago, but it took almost an act of Congress to get it done with all of the different government agencies that were involved. In a lot of cases, we have that, even stuff within the city, West Road, Trackwork Road. Those require work with ODOT to get things done. So I think we've got a challenge to focus on infrastructure, maybe in a way we haven't done as intentionally in the past. The second challenge that I see is working on balancing I work in Blue Ash. My current client is in Blue Ash. So every day I leave Harrison and I take my tax dollars with me. Blue Ash is happy to collect them. It's awesome that the growth we've seen, that we've got all these new families, it's bringing a great energy to the town. But at the same time, it feels like we're maybe out of balance. We need to build the business community, take advantage of the land that's available. Harrison is blessed because it's one of the few places with large stretches of land available for development still in Hamilton County. And bringing business to fill that out and kind of balancing that against the residential explosion we've seen, I think is a key ingredient of maintaining a balanced budget and just fiscal responsibility.
All right, thank you, Joe. Anthony Agner, next to answer that question.
So I pretty much have the same answer that Joe has. Infrastructure is definitely something that needs to be addressed, as well as the growth problem, you know, where the city is just, I guess it's a good problem to have. The city is just exploding, and we need to make sure that the city can keep up with it. And yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you, Anthony. What are some of the main challenges you see for Harrison over the next 4 years, Mr. Ryan Sanders?
Really, the challenges that I see, the big one, not necessarily that it's a problem now, it's just the maintenance and safety services surrounding the growth that's going on within the city. Also, the infrastructure updates that we need to make to help the city continue to grow. And around that, those two items, you do have a fiscal responsibility. You want to make sure that you stay within the means that are provided by the taxpayers. And one other item I have down here is important, but also pedestrian safety. Some of the things, when I've been walking around talking to residents, that was a common theme. And it was one of the items that came up in the downtown discussion. The ability to walk around, not having crosswalks, anybody crossing over the West Road overpass, trying to get from Kroger's or to Kroger's from those areas. So those are what I think the main challenges are.
All right. Years. Thank you so much, Ryan. Gene Wilson, what are some of the challenges you see Harrison facing in the next 4 years or so?
Well, I think some of our challenges are going to be that we are growing so quickly, our service is going to be able to keep up. Not only our police and fire, but our water plant, our wastewater plant, are those the streets department, are they going to be able to keep up with all the extra demand that's been put on them? Are we going to have to look at restructuring some departments? We may have to do that. Also, I feel a challenge is attracting quality businesses to our community. Not only that, we're going to give quality jobs to our residents, but also add to our taxpayer dollars. That's important to have quality businesses in our community that's going to give quality jobs to our residents where they can work and live in the same community, plus add to our tax dollar base.
All right, thank you so much, Gene. And Harold Weeby, same question for you. Some challenges over the next few years.
Yeah, and I think our main concern is trying to increase that tax base, which will be done with the right kind of development. Again, a company that gives a living wage. There are two companies in the city of Harrison that are in the top 100 private companies in the greater Cincinnati area. They are JTM and Triumph Energy. Wouldn't it be great if a couple of years from now we had 4 or 5 companies, private companies in the city of Harrison that were listed in the top 100? I believe one way to get this development through is for the city of Harrison working with the Economic Development Department is to run a major marketing campaign. Let the rest of the greater Cincinnati area know that we are open for business. We have the land and we have the labor force. In the year around 2002, the city of Harrison, along with some of the members of the Economic Development Committee on Council, put together this brochure. And anyone that was interested in the city of Harrison, whether it was a resident or whether it was a person maybe looking to build a business, we're given this booklet. There's some great information in here. It talks about the school system, talks about the neighborhoods, talks about where land is available. This definitely needs to be updated. This needs to go on the web page. We need to, again, extend the invitation that we are open for business.
All right, thank you so much, Carol. And the last prepared question I have before we potentially turn it over to some of the audience members here. We heard Councilman Grubbs talk about the fire levy. What are your thoughts about the fire levy? Are you for or against it? Joe Combs, you're up.
Okay. I think I kind of got into that topic in a previous question. So I would just say that the fire levy has money, yes, but I don't know the number of it. I'd like to reiterate that it's important that the next city council be ready and willing to work toward a permanent solution and not just a can down the road.
All right, thank you so much, Joe. Anthony Agner, your thoughts on the fire levy?
I'm 100% for the fire levy. I worked in that fire department when there was 8 people on duty. I worked when there was 10 people on duty. And it might not sound like much, but 2 people make a huge difference when you're running a fire department. So I'm 100% for it, and it's got my yes vote.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Samuels, your thoughts?
Really, I'm going to ride Joe's coattails on this. I am definitely for the levy. I've had some really good conversations with Chief Herson about the fire department. But I would also like to find a more permanent solution. We don't, I don't like the idea of having to go out every couple of years to the taxpayers, ask for levy to keep this up and running. I would like to see a more permanent solution in place. I don't know what that is at this point in time, but certainly it's something we'll look at.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. Gene, how about your thoughts?
Whenever you're spending taxpayers' dollars, you have to be very careful of what you put your name behind. But on the fire levy, it is imperative for the quality of service that we want for our community. So, that being said, unlike others that have already commented, we have to find a permanent solution. This is a temporary Band-Aid for us. We need to do more research, do more searching, and figure out a way that we don't have to come back again and ask for another levy. People want to live in our community, yet they don't want to feel like they're taxed to death. But this is a very important levy, and I urge everyone to vote yes for the fire levy.
Thank you so much, Gene. And Carol, your thoughts on the levy?
Approving this fire levy will not only allow our Harrison Fire Department to continue their excellence in our city, but will also allow money in the general fund to be freed up to use other departments. In other words, it's a win-win situation. I do agree with everyone else here. Somewhere along the road, a more permanent solution will need to come up. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Carol. And that concludes my portion of the questions. Those were some of the general things here in Harrison, but we have some prospective voters here in the crowd, so we will open it up at this time. If anybody does have a question, I'll bring a microphone to you. Or raise your hand. I'll be more than glad to do that. If not, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Combs and we'll say our goodbyes here. Here we go. Well, you're going to make me come all the way up to the top.
Oh, you can have
That was
one. All right, my name is Mike Baines, I'm Harrison City Councilman.
Go ahead. All right, anything else?
Thank you, Councilman Mays. When you talk parks and recreation, I'm a longtime scout leader, so you're kind of seeing myself. Personally, I don't ride, but I love the fact that we have that park, the Dunaway Park. It's, in my mind, a good use for that land, given its location and the fact that someday it may be needed for the sewage treatment plant. It seems like a fine use for it. I like Willow Park that's attached to it. I think we've got some issues with erosion on the banks that the council is looking into. And I'm looking forward to coming up with a solution to that.
All right, good, thank you. Anthony, any thoughts on that question?
I really didn't know much about the motocross track until I actually talked to Mr. Maines a couple weeks ago. He explained it well to me that, you know, there's really not a liability at all for the city, so I'm all for it. It's a good way to, you know, the kids can get out there and they're not, you know, they're staying occupied, they're getting out of the house. Yeah, so I'm definitely for it. I don't see why anyone would want to shut it down. So yeah, I'm for it.
All right, thank you so much, Anthony. How about you, Ryan?
Since my son rides down there probably once or twice a week, I am definitely for it. But just to add on about that park, that is a great example of, and Mike alluded to it a few years ago, of, you know, when a community comes together, what they can do. That park is free. It's maintained by volunteers. It does not cost the city any money. So it's a great example of the community coming together to, you know, bring this thing to fruition. And it's something the city can tout, because when I do go down there, I don't ride, I don't have a bike, but I sit there with other parents, and we're drawing in people. There are people from Harrison, but there's also people coming in from Ross. I've talked to people from Coleraine. I actually work with a gentleman who brings his bike down from Westchester. So it is bringing some positivity, some notoriety to Harrison, because they do have this free track. So I'm definitely for the motocross track.
Thank you, Ryan. We'll move on to Gene and your thoughts on the motocross track.
When I was the recreation coordinator, of course, the motocross park was part of what I took care of. And, you know, it's a great place for our youth to go. And, you know, our youth in our town, there's really not, if you're not into football or baseball, there's not a whole lot of other activities for our youth to go to. So I think the motocross park is a great place. I know my grandsons ride down there, and you know, it's like it's been said before, you know, it's really at no cost to the city. You know, they have taken great steps in making sure that the volunteers properly maintain the park. And I just think it's a great asset to our community. I can tell you, when I was on recreation, and I had lots of phone calls from all over asking me about the motocross park. So I just think it's a great asset to our community, and hopefully that we can keep it, you know, maybe improvements need to be made down there in the future, and you know, that's things that we need to look at.
Thank you very much, Gene, and Carol, your thoughts as well.
I think anytime the city and the volunteers from the city and members of the community can come together to provide an entertaining experience for anyone that wants to come, it is nothing but a win-win situation for all.
All right, thank you very much. For my calculations, we're under about 10 minutes here, so we'll be wrapping up soon, but we do have time for a couple more questions if anybody does have one at this time. No takers. All right, well, I will turn it back over to Mr. Combs. Well,
thank you, Travis. Thank you, candidates, for coming tonight, and for all of you who showed up. I'm personally excited by the quality of candidates we have this year. It's always good to see competition for political office also. So I'm going to wrap this up by again thanking everyone and telling everybody to get out there and vote next month. There's big things ahead for Harrison, and these people right here are going to be directing the future of it. Thank you.